invited the people to break every last commandment from beginning to end. The commandment says, you shall not take any graven image of anything in the heavens above, on the earth below, or on the waters, walking on the land. Any living being, no images. But Christianity is image. Idols, statues, pictures of God, pictures of this picture. Worship is all based on pictures. Breaking the commandments. God said when Jesus was asked, what is the first commandment? He said, hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is one God. Christians say, God is three gods in one. But three. Breaking the commandment, the first of the commandments. The commandment says, you shall not eat pork. It is unclean for you. It defiles you. You should not eat pork. But Christians love pork. The biggest pork eaters on the face of the earth today are the souls who claim to be following Jesus Christ. Disobeying the commandment, breaking the commandment. The commandment says you shall not drink blood. And they will make blood in there, make puddings, and they have blood pudding in England and all kinds, cooking with blood. Love blood. Breaking the commandments. In the commandments, Jesus, as he's described in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, praying to God, it says, in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus fell down on his face and prayed. He prostrated on the ground, face on the ground in prayer. And you look in the Old Testament, you see Moses is described doing that. Aaron is described doing that. Abraham is described doing that. David is, all of the prophets are described praying by falling down on their face. But Christians instead, they hold their hands like this. And we ask, well, where did this come from? Look over at the Hindus. The Hindus, when they're greeting like this. So they break the commandments. Instead of praying as Jesus prayed, when Jesus told them, I am the way. I am showing you the way. There is no other way to God but my way. They ignored his way and said, we will worship him. Jesus commanded them to worship God, and they worshiped him, saying he was God. So the commandments were broken. The gospel is lost. The teachings have disappeared. Today, Christians are as much involved in idolatry and worshipping others besides God as all of the other nations. Just varying in degrees. It is only in Islam that we can find the commandments of God preserved, unchanged. In the Old Testament, there is. Some of the commandments remain unchanged. But still there have been changes. God tells us in the Qur'an that the Jews changed the commandments. This is why Jesus came. Because they had modified some of the commandments. One of the jobs of Jesus was to bring people back to following the commandments. When he came into the temple, there were people, the money changers were in the temple. They were buying and selling money in the temple. Imagine in your place of worship, in a church, inside the church, where people are supposed to be worshiping, they had business going on. So Jesus came and overturned those tables. Because they had distorted the meaning of the laws. They had changed the meaning of the laws. For example, the law concerning usury, interest. That is, you give a person $10, you lend them $10, you want back from them $15. Simple terms. Okay? That is called interest or usury. And this is condemned in the Bible. But the Jews changed the law to say that it is condemned amongst yourselves. That is, it is forbidden for a Jew to take interest from another Jew. But the Gentiles, this is their free game. We can get it from the Gentiles, no problem. So, Usury is a standard. Only in Islam is the law preserved. Usury, interest, is forbidden 100%. Not just for Muslims amongst Muslims, but for anybody. It is prohibited. The laws are preserved only in Islam. All of the laws which God revealed for man are there preserved. And fundamentally, all of the laws which have to do with man's worship of God, of submitting his will to God, all of it is for the remembrance of God. That is the essence of it all. Why is 5 times daily prayer prescribed? Why 5 times every day, not once a week, but 5 times every day? Why must a human being organize his day around the worship of God? Why? God says in the Qur'an, verse 14 of the 20th chapter, Taha, إِنَّنِي أَنَا اللَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنَا فَاعْبُدْنِي وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ لِذِكْرِي. Verily I am Allah. There is no God besides me. So worship me and establish regular prayer for my remembrance. For my remembrance. It is for the remembrance of God that regular prayer is prescribed. Fasting. Why must one fast? 1 month every year. As Jesus fasted, as the prophets before fasted. Allah explains in the Qur'an, again in Surah Al-Baqarah, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. O you who believe, fasting has been prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, that you may become conscious of God, that you may be aware of God. So fundamentally, worship is there for us to remember God. Why? Because it is in the remembrance of God that we become righteous. When we forget God, this is when we become evil. This is why in Islam, anything which causes us to forget God, to lose our consciousness, to lose our sense of awareness of God, is forbidden. This is why gambling, alcohol, these things are forbidden. Why? Because it makes man lose his will, submitting his will to the created things, lose his consciousness of God. He forgets everything all around him. When a man is addicted to gambling, when he's addicted to alcohol, he cannot think about anything but this. It captures the soul of the man. So in Islam it's forbidden. It is from Satan. And Allah says in the Qur'an, verse 19, chapter 58, Satan has got the better of them, those who have gone astray, and caused them to forget Allah. This is what Satan seeks to do in our lives, cause us to forget Allah, give us many suggestions to get involved in this, that and the other, to forget Allah. Those are the party of Satan. Truly the party of Satan are the real losers. In chapter 5 verse 91, Allah says, Satan's plan is to incite enmity, hatred among you with intoxicants and gambling, and hinder you from the remembrance of Allah and regular prayer. Will you not then abstain? This is why it is forbidden to keep the human being in contact with God, remembering God. So Islam, the system of Islam, Islam means submission to the will of God. It is, as a totality, the fulfillment of the commandments of God. The fulfillment of worship is only in Islam, in its totality. And every aspect of Islam encourages us to remember God. Every aspect of Islam encourages us to be better individuals. And this is why the religion The religion of Islam is not a religion which was named by men. Men made up the name, made up this religion. No, it is in the revelation itself. Allah says, إِنَّ الدِّينَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ الْإِسْلَامِ. Surely Allah's religion, the religion of Allah for man is Islam. Submission to the will of